2023. That was when the first version of ChatGPT came in. So that was my first interaction with AI, and over the years it has grown. So this year I've made it my year's goal to teach as many people as I can about AI, how to use it, because I believe that it is something that with the right knowledge about it, everyone will be able to, make the most of it. So welcome, welcome. Thank you for honoring and being here. I'm actually hosting this webinar to mark my birthday. My birthday was on Wednesday, the 1st of April. So I thought this would be my own way of, giving back to society and saying that, oh, this is my own way of giving back. So the focus, this is not an all-encompassing boot camp. I just hosted the AI-powered student boot camp over the last weekend where I was teaching. I think some of my students are here. Thank you for the birthday wish, where I was teaching people how to use AI in the context of academics. AI is very encompassing. It has so many applications. So when you're learning, it's best to learn the principles, not just to copy the practice, because if you're trying to copy the practice, the use cases change over time. So it's best to, learn the principles, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. So the context of this webinar, so that we keep everything we're doing within context, the context of this webinar. And please, you can also indicate on the group, tag others, tell them to join. If you have friends who you want to be here, who are also on the group, I think we're about, what number, 14, 15, 16, we're about 17 here, as against over 30 something on the group. So our participation is all determine whether I'm going to release the recording. I really want us to participate because AI is a hands-on thing. So the context of this training is prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is the #1 skill you need when it comes to the ever-changing landscape of AI, because the tools will change. So realize that we started with ChatGPT. Now we have so many uncountable tools that is so difficult to keep up. So this is the skill that will keep you sharp, that no matter the tool that comes, you know how to use it, because the true way to use AI is to know how to talk to AI. And how to talk to AI is a simplified version of what is called prompt engineering. So your ability to give a proper prompt is what will give you a good outcome. So before we dive into practicals, I like to lay a knowledge-based foundation of whatever I'm doing before we dive into, open which tool type. No, let's lay a theoretical foundation, a brief theoretical foundation for each. So we're going to move this way. I'm going to give an overview of prompting, we'll practicalize. I'll give an overview of text prompt best practices, we'll practicalize. I'll give an overview of image, we'll practicalize. I'll give an overview of video, we'll practicalize. So that at the end of the day, you're not just gathering information, you're also able to practice. So let's dive in. So I will share my small slide that I prepared to help us. I'll share my small slide that I prepared. So sharing my screen. All right. So it's about to share 3, 2, 1. Yes. All right. So you can see my screen. Let's begin. So this is about engineered intelligence. So the overview of prompt engineering. So advanced prompt architecture and systems thinking, which is big English for, speaking in the language that AI can understand. So you need to understand that the difference between the person that uses AI well and the person that doesn't use AI well is simply how they treat AI. So if you're just commanding AI, you're, as an amateur, you treat it as a search engine. Most of us grew up with Google, where you just type how to cook egusi soup and you see different recipes will pour out. You leave the formatting and the tone to chance. You use vague, open-ended instructions. You rely on a single one-shot attempt. So you just type one thing and you expect the AI to understand what you're looking for, but AI is not Google. So the difference is, from here, we're going to move from just being amateurs to becoming architects. So you treat AI as a reasoning engine. AI is not designed as a search engine, it's a reasoning engine. So you have to come with something. AI is not magic. You have to bring something to the table for AI to know exactly what to do. You have to define the exact output and the persona. So we'll get into all this English as we move forward. Then you need to apply constraints. So you're telling, if I'm telling AI, like for example, I gave the example of cooking egusi soup on Google. But AI doesn't know the kind of egusi soup that you want. Do you want the Yoruba version? Do you want the Igbo version? Do you want the type that uses vegetable? Do you want the type that doesn't use vegetable? So you see that there are so many nuances to that single command that you are not giving constraints. So let's move. So because the reason is that AI models, which is the type that we use, these are the ones that we type in chat boxes, they're called large language models. They don't possess intrinsic memory. They are highly advanced prediction engines. If you study the history of AI, one of the first kind of AI that came out is your autocorrect that tries to mimic what you are typing and tries to complete your sentences. It uses a combination of what people have already been typing over the years to predict. So AI is a predictive engine. It's a predictive engine. So the rule of context is the rule of prompt engineering. It only knows what you put into the context window. If you don't specify, it's not good. So AI is garbage in, garbage out. Just see AI as an all-powerful, all-knowing child. So you still need to give context. You still need to give context. So what does a proper prompt contain? These are the 5 things that a proper prompt contains. Role, who should the AI act as? So for example, that same prompt of cook egusi soup, the AI is supposed to act as an expert chef, an expert Nigerian chef. So that's what I'll type as my prompt. The context becomes, what are the situations around what you're prompting? That's simply what context is. Then the task, what is the specific task, which is to create a recipe for egusi soup. So if my context is that I want to open a restaurant and I want to create a recipe to cook for 50 people, you see that the number of cups of egusi and everything will vary. The task is still write a recipe for egusi soup. What are the constraints? What should AI not do? So I not tell it, okay, I don't want to use vegetable or I want to use vegetable. I'm just using something common. So understand where all these syntaxes fit. Then the format, what do I want my output to be? Because that's what will determine whether it will give it to me as a list, should it give it to me as a document, should it give it to me as a picture, should it give it to me as a video. So that's what format talks about. So the AI does not define your goal for you. You have a goal in mind, then you contextualize your goal. So you see that you never ask an LLM to define your primary goal. You define your goal, then you tell the AI to execute it. So if my goal is to grow my community, yes, but it is a week goal. When I contextualize it, create a 90-day trackable strategy guide to acquire 601 new members for my AI community, breaking down the goal into weekly milestones. So you see that this and this are the same, but you see how more properly worded this is. So you see, breaking down those 5 layers. So layer 1, the persona, who should AI act as? So the task is a specific action. So you see the role, you are a senior B2B copywriter. That's if the goal here is to write a LinkedIn ad instead of a generic, like you want to, your software company, you have a LinkedIn profile and you want to write an ad for that, your product. You not just say write a LinkedIn ad. What kind? Who am I acting as? What level of expertise? So you see down here, you're a senior B2B copywriter, targeting operations manager. So you see the target audience. Write a confident, non-salesy LinkedIn ad for project management software. So what kind of software? So context, persona, and the task itself should be very clear. So this is the context funnel. So this is everything your AI knows. But this is you putting a context filter to make the most of AI. So we'll practicalize these. So look at constraints. So you can, depend, like now if you're writing a social media post, you can, and you know that there's a word limit where you're writing the post, where you're supposed to put the information, you see that you can put constraints, keep the reply under 150 words, keep the reply under 100 characters. You can decide the tone of the writing. Should it be formal? Still talk about text prompting. Should it be formal? Should it be informal? You can talk about negative instructions. What do you not want to see in your output? Then we'll move to the next. So this is the prompt anatomy compiled. So this is an example prompt. So you see, someone wants to reply to their boss in the human resource management that they are not going to be they're not going to be at work. So you see, act as an executive assistant, write out a short out of office reply. I will be away from March 1st to March 25th. Start directly with the dates. Do not use the phrase limited access or reply when I can. Be direct, but be professional. Format as a single short paragraph. You can see that all this for instead of this shorter, just basic prompts. The next, so you see that if you need, now we're moving to a bit more advanced framework, but before we get there, let's do a little practical, then we'll get back. These are the same principles that guide text prompting. So let's get back to, so let me open ChatGPT and a new chat, then switch my tab so you can see what I'm doing. So, but I want it to be practical. So I want someone to suggest, what do you want us to write? So that it won't just be something off my head. Let me show you guys how to apply this prompting so that it won't be something very complex. So someone should maybe raise your hand if you want to volunteer. This is for text prompting. These principles now are mostly for text prompting. So raise your hand if you have something you want us to write. Just say it the basic way, then we'll build the prompt using the same principles. So anyone? 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 Can raise your hand. There's a raise hand button. Can raise your hand. And then if you raise your hand, okay, can I mute your mic since nobody wants to raise their hand? You can mute your mic and talk if you want to. Hello. Yes, you can speak. I think there's someone that is unmuted. Yes, Uzoma can speak. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. You can speak. What do you want us to write?
Maybe make a post on mental health.
All right. All right. Let's work on that.
Let's work.
All right. So make a post on mental health. So let's assume, let me still refine that. So let's assume mental health, World Mental Health Day is coming up. You want to write a LinkedIn post or a Facebook post on World Mental Health Day. And let's assume the theme is, because like I said, prompting is about context. So even if let's just practicalize it. Let's practicalize it. So let's take the normal prompt. Write a post on World Mental Health. Although my ChatGPT is trained to recognize that I'm a doctor, so may not still hallucinate so much. Let's see. Write a post on World Mental Health Day. Let's see what it gives us. Come on, load. What seems to be the problem? Okay, let me reload this page. Let me reload this page. Just give me a minute. Let me fix that and switch back to ChatGPT. Let me see if Gemini is up. Sometimes they act up from their servers. So let's see which of them is going better tonight. Especially if you're using all right, it's back. It's back. Let me switch. Please mute your mic. All right. So let me see. Let me share the screen now. Where are you? ChatGPT. Yeah. So let me switch. Let me share my screen. All right. So this is the generic prompt. So you can see here is a clean, engaging post. What mental health day? You can talk about physical health, gym, diet, sleep. How do people post and ask, how am I really doing mentally? Mental health is not just about illness. So you see, it's generic. It's about how you think, how you feel, how you cope. You're just sounding like one motivational speaker that overeats night food. So this is your generic prompt. Write a post on World Mental Health Day. But now, if we want to give context, so let's apply what we got from that slide. So the very first is define the role. So we say act as a social media. Okay, no, not social media. Act as a copywriter. Act as a copywriter and mental health physician. So this is the role, the expert that is supposed to have knowledge on this. So we're telling AI, out of the plain things that you know, this is the role I want you to occupy. Act as a copywriter and mental health physician. Then we've talked about the role. What is the task? Create, or let me use write a LinkedIn post for celebrating World Mental Health Day. World Mental Health Day. Now, this is just using role and task. If I want to now add another layer, so how long do I want the post to be? That's constraints. So if I say write a, let me call it 100-word LinkedIn post celebrating World Mental Health Day. So we've put role, we've put constraint, we've put task. The next thing we can add tone. Let the tone be cheerful. Then let me add a bit more context. So celebrating World Mental Health Day. The theme is mental health for all. Then I can add other context. So let the tone be cheerful, use storytelling. Then the last layer I want to add, who are the people that are going to read this? Factor in a Nigerian audience, because they can go and start motivating you thinking you're living in America. Factor in a Nigerian audience. So let's see the difference between this, the one we have and what we're going to create now. Let's see. It's working. Work faster. So you see, Last week in Lagos traffic, a young man laughed loudly on a call, then went quiet. When he hung up, he sighed. That moment stayed with me. Many of us are carrying invisible. So you see, I was laughing, then he went quiet. He hung up and sighed. That moment stayed with me. Many of us are carrying invisible weight while showing up daily. This World Mental Health Day, the theme is mental health for all, not for a few, not for when things get bad, for everyone, everywhere. Check in on your people, rest when you can, speak when you need to. Care should be accessible, support should be normal, because a healthier Nigeria starts with healthier minds. Let's make space for one another. So if I don't like this one now, I can tweak it. I can tell it create 2 more variants. And it's going to create 2 more variants. This one is using more of Lagos context. I don't know who told Oyibo that Nigeria is only Lagos. I don't know who told Oyibo that Nigeria is only Lagos. Okay, someone is, okay, want to ask a question? Okay, go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead, Daberchi, you raised your hand. You want to ask a question? Go ahead.
Sorry,
Okay. No, I saw your question on the chat. You said, what AI is this? Is this ChatGPT? Yes, this is ChatGPT. This is
I'm
ChatGPT.
sorry, it's another that this
Wow. Okay, no problem. All right, but yes, this is ChatGPT. This is ChatGPT. So you can use, but when I want to create this kind of, anyway, this is dependent on what you're doing. Different AI have different strengths. So ideally, for this kind of social media post, I prefer to use Claude. Claude is the king of texts. So you can compare models. Well, that's not fair.
Which do you say Grok or which one? Hello, sir.
Yes. I said the best for text is Claude. Claude.ai, CLAUDE is the best for this kind of social media kind of posts. I'm just using ChatGPT because it's the Oga Pata of them all. Is the generalist medical context. ChatGPT is the general physician. Can do every and anything. But when you want to start entering specialists, the best for social media content is actually Claude. So this is just the first layer of prompting. So you see that writing or using AI is not magic. You need to actually know something about what you want to create. Although there's a hack where you don't need to know something about what you want to create, depending on what it is. Like now, I may not be a photographer and I may not know photography terms, but I can still generate dangerous images with AI. So, but the reason why you need to know something about what you're creating is that when it comes to editing your prompt, you need to know what exactly is the terminology. Anyway, when I get to the more advanced frameworks. But I hope this particular one I just demonstrated was clear. How we layer those things I just showed you. So let me switch back to my what's it called? To my presentation, and let's continue. Let's continue. Where are you? Is my yes. Now, there's such a thing as frameworks when it comes to prompting. Now, what does it mean? Frameworks. It's just big English for process. So, for example, this is just we just created a social media post, but it's not the only use case for text. So let's assume early this year when I was doing my goal setting, I used AI as my companion. Remember, I said old prompting. You treat AI like a search engine. Give me this, give me that. But as an AI architect, you use it as a thought partner. So I use it as my thought partner when it comes to setting my goals. So there are different prompt frameworks that I used. Coming? Let me get to it. Yes. So there are different frameworks. So framework one, let's enter there, is the input process output framework. Think you need to either get a notebook or, because this is the theoretical aspect. So you know which framework to use depending on your task. So this means I have something that I want AI to do something to. Input process output. That is, so you see here, you have raw data, there are algorithmic steps, then there's a result that you want. So this is the kind of framework that if you're a data analyst, this is the framework that you use, irrespective of the tool that you're using. Remember, I'm not teaching you tools, I'm teaching you the principles behind any tool. So if for example, you want to use ChatGPT for data analytics, you've collected your data, you've structured your Excel sheets, random information, and you just upload it to your ChatGPT and like, I taught you prompting now. I've taught you prompting now. So what role? Still the same principle. What role do you want AI to play? You are a data analyst. This is information from so and so and so project. Analyze for this. So you've given raw data as your input. You've put your prompt, which is the process. Then you now tell it to give me this information as maybe plot a graph, plot a chart. That is input, process, output. I take a document, I want it to extract the information from the document and rewrite it. It's still input, process, output, the IPO framework. So it's simply big English for process. So how do you apply your prompt into different situations? That's what a framework is about. The next framework is the interview pattern. So this is the one that I used for my goal setting. So I say, okay, I have a goal. I want to, the beginning of the year when there's a lot of dopamine, I have a goal. I want to make 1 million naira this year, and you've not really made, okay, let's say I want to make $1 million this year. You've not really made that $1 million before. So, but you can't just set a goal. So you use AI as a thinking partner. So when I was doing that, AI will now ask me, okay, so this $1 million now that you want to make, so how much are you currently making? So how you structure the prompt is, so you can see an example. So you said, I need a 250 word post about lessons learned switching to a 4-day work week. So you can use any example here. Say, I want to set a goal of, let me use that goal set. I think that one's more relatable. I want to set a goal of earning $1 million in the next 3 months. AI will now ask you, so what do you currently make? Are you currently in debt? What skills do you have that you can offer? At what price can you sell those skills? At what price can you sell those commodities? Let's now see whether, so you know how much you need to make per month, you know how much you need to make per quarter to be able to make the amounts that you want to make. So usually, anytime you're using this framework, you end your prompt with, before you write it, interview me, ask me one question at a time about whatever the topic is, whatever the thing you are talking about. The difference between this and normal prompting is that you want AI to carry you along in the decision-making process. So you can see it here. The human provides the goal, AI interrogates for context, then you keep repeating. So you tell it, okay, so I currently teach AI. So it asks you, how much do you charge for your AI classes? You tell it, okay, I charge so amount. It does not tell you, okay, is there any other skill that you have? Is there any other commodity that you sell? When you are done, you keep answering. Once you're done, it's not outputs that process, the entire thing. So that is the interview pattern. So you use it for anything strategy. So I want to start a new business. But don't just give me a business plan. Ask me questions on how the kind of business and all that. Once you do that, it starts asking, so what do you want to name your business? How, where is your business located? What are the services you want to offer? So it's like you're using AI to give yourself a clarity session. An unpaid strategist. So anything that has to do with strategy, planning, this is the framework that you use. The next is few shots. So few shots here means you have a bit of information on the pattern you want AI to follow. So that our previous prompt that we just used now for a LinkedIn post. If there's a writing style that I like, that I want to use, I can go and copy someone's post and tell it, after typing all those things, I'll not sneak it in towards the end and say, use this format, or use this tone of voice of this particular post, or use the, like, I'm just trying to pick properties from another already existing output. So we're going to use this mostly when we're doing our image generation prompting. Then the next framework is chain of thought. Chain of thought. So the difference between this and the interview is that you are interacting with the AI. That is, you tell it what you want to do, the strategy you want to do. That's because you know what you want to do, but you need AI to help you organize your thoughts. That's what the interview style does. But the chain of thought, what you use this one for is you want AI to show you how it thinks. So you don't even have an idea how this thing works. You don't have an idea how this particular, so you are reading on a subject that is not your field. This is where you use chain of thought. So you tell it, you force the model to expose its reasoning, reducing logic errors. So you see, you end it with, do not give me the answer yet. First, think through this step by step, map out all interconnected factors, show me your reasoning before providing a final recommendation. So this is how you prevent logical errors. So if I want to do research now, I want to jump back to Germany, but I don't want AI to just be giving me fiber, just be giving me unnecessary information. I tell it, I want you, act as the same principles that we're using, act as, a relocation expert. Prepare a document showing me the standard migration pathway from Nigeria to Germany. Good and fine. But I want to see how you even did this thing that you're doing. Don't give me the answer. Think through it step by step. Map out all the interconnected factors, or map out the process you are going to follow. Show me your reasoning before providing a final recommendation. That's how you use chain of thought. So if I go back to this table, so if you need strict documentation, use the IPO, input, process, output. That is, you have information already that you only want the AI to use that information. Use IPO. You want to gather unknown context, but you know a little, use the interview pattern. Then you need the exact style. That's the future. So I'm providing an example of what I like. Then you need complex problem solving, use chain of thought. Then let's go to the last, my favorite one. When all else fails, you go to prompt to prompt. So remember when I said you need to know something about what you're writing? Turns out you don't exactly need to know exactly what you're writing, because AI already, in a way, has seen people that prompt better than you. So what you do is you take your half-baked prompts, and then you now prompt AI to improve your prompt. That is, like that first prompt we put, write a LinkedIn post for me. So let's refine that prompt. If we're going to use AI to refine that prompt, let's see what it's going to look like. Let's see what it's going to look like. So let me share my ChatGPT. Let's practicalize this one. This is my favorite prompting style. I hope we're getting value. Send some emojis in the chat. Let me be sure you're following. Yes. All right, so let me share my ChatGPT screen. Let's continue. Now, so let's take this our old prompts. I'll not tell AI, so I'm using prompts to prompts. So refine this prompt better for a Nigerian audience. Okay, let me not limit it. Refine this prompt better for me. As this is still a vague prompt anyways. Let's see. So you now see AI will start cooking some really dangerous stuff. So you see, write a compelling LinkedIn post for mental health day. Focus on the theme, use a relatable, story-driven opening, maintain a hopeful and human tone, and with a clear, reflective, or actionable takeaway. Keep it concise and tailored to Nigerian professionals. Anyway, I've spoiled this chart by already giving it this my good prompt. So it's just trying to follow up, you know. So you see other variants. As a professional, act as a professional copywriter and mental health physician. Write 100-word LinkedIn post for one mental health day, centered on mental health for all. It's just giving different variants, emphasizing different things. So it's saying, if you just want a high conversion general prompt, use this. If it's copywriting, use this. If you want it to just drive more engagement, use this. So what's the difference here? The difference here is designed to say, see, it's telling AI, you all do everything within your power. All the tools that you've been trained on. Use the information you know on high converting posts to write something that will drive likes, comments, and shares. Use storytelling. Ask a reflective question. So you see that because questions draw people into posts. Include a strong closing line. Keep it under 120 words and culturally relevant to Nigeria. So let me use this number 3. So you see that while I'm struggling with, do I want variant 1, do I want variant 2, I can just upgrade my prompts depending on my goal. Paste it and use it. Chicken now. So let's see what it gives us. Let's see what it gives us. ChatGPT, you are falling my hand today. You are being slow. Why does this AI like Lagos? Nigeria is not Lagos now. Lagos people in this meeting, you should tell ChatGPT that Nigeria is bigger than Lagos. Lagos that is smaller than Enugu. As well. All right. So let's see. So you see, this morning Lagos traffic is just a variant of the same previous one. Yeah. So these are best practices for anything that has to do with text generation. You need to know, like I said, the role, the context, the tone, the constraints. Those are the things. So I don't want you to lock your mind on, if I want to use AI and start checking, did I put rule, did I put context, did I put? It's simply paint it in your mind, paint a more vivid picture of what you want your output to look like. That's simply what all these parameters are when it comes to prompting. Paint a more vivid picture of what you want your output to look like. That's simply it. That's simply it. And you can see as I was working, you don't settle for just your first output. You iterate, you adjust, you tweak. As you are prompting, you tweak. Okay, add this, remove this, till you get the final output that you want. So that's it for text. Is there any question before we move to image? It's not really so complicated. It's not a very complicated thing. Is there any question before we continue to image generation? Any question before we continue to image generation? Anybody? All right, I take that as no question. So let me quickly, and I'd like to lay a visual foundation, a theoretical foundation before we move. So first things first, the tool I'm going to be using is called Google Flow. Google Flow uses Google's image generation model, Nano Banana. Okay, let me explain something before we continue, so I don't assume we all have the same level of AI exposure. So what you know are the software, the apps, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. Those are the names of the software, names of the apps, the market name. Just like a drug has brand name and has ingredient name. So, okay, you can't hear me again. Oh my. Can you hear me now? Or was this an old message? Can I be? Okay, this was an old message. All right. So what you know are the software, but the powerhouse behind it are called the AI models. So each AI model has parameters within which it operates. So that's how we know that ChatGPT does all the things it does. That's how we know that Gemini does all the things it does. I think Gemini currently does not do image generation. There are some models that don't do text generation, like the one we're going to be using now, this Nano Banana. It doesn't do text generation. It does purely image generation. So anything you're outputting will be in image format. Anything you're outputting will be in image format. So let's move to that. Let's move to that. So let me refresh this. Let me refresh this. Oh, people that want to join the meeting, let me quickly send them the links. And quickly send them the links before we continue. All right, so Google Flow. Now, the same way text has different layers when it comes to prompting, that's the same way imaging has different layers when it comes to prompting. So let me pull up my slide. Let me pull up my slide. Yes. So we'll go through it, then we'll create. Image generation is very straightforward. Image generation is very, very straightforward. So let me share my slide quickly. Yeah. Can you see my slide? All right.
All right.
So this is image generation. Now, like the same way for text, if you just go and type generate the image of a dog, to just give you something generic, it's not going to give you anything specific. But if you layer your prompts, so you can see the 4 layers of image prompting: the atmosphere, the depth of field. So that's why I said you need to know a little something about what you want to generate, although you can still use the prompt to prompt framework anyways. So the atmosphere, so you can see this image on the right here showing you what a proper prompt should look like. So the same generate image of a dog sitting by a lake is just generic, but you see how layered this one is. So the atmosphere, what kind of lighting, the depth of field. Depth of field here is a term used by photographers talking about what the image should look like kind of different lenses. So if is there a photographer here, person should indicate so that I will not speak out of my face. Everybody here that dabbles into photography, I think one of you, I don't remember the name, does photography. I think I've been seeing your status. I don't know if you're here. Let's be sure the people it is for, they're actually here. Is there any photographer with us here, please, that we can speak your language and carry you along? Any photographer here? I don't want to misspeak.
Speak. I'm listening.
All right. So these different layers are what makes up a properly prompted image. So let's dive in. So the subject, what exactly is the main character of the picture? What action is happening? So is there any action that is happening? If it needs to be active or not. Then the environment, what should it look like? Then what is the art style? So there are different art styles. You can generate the image as an anime, can generate the image as hyper realistic, can generate the image as pencil portrait, there are so many art styles. Then what kind of lighting should it be? Then are there other details you want to add? Once you meet these 6 criteria, there's nothing you want to prompt that you're not going to prompt. The same way we were talking about in the previous text prompting, role, persona, all those things. So the same principle applies here. What's the central subject of your image? Is there any action they're performing? Is there anything unique about the environment you want to add? Is there an art style you want the image to output as? Is there lighting and other details? That's all. So, like we were saying, so the optics now. So what camera angle do you want the image to be as? These are other extra information. So you can see normal eye level photography. Do you want it to be a close-up image? Do you want it to be a low angle? This is a macro shot. Person, this is flash shot. This is a medium shot. This is a more close-up shot. This one is a low angle shot showing dominance of the character here. So you treat your AI image generator like a physical camera. You dictate what the glass shoots. You treat your AI generator like a physical camera rig. You dictate what the glass sees. Then, although these ones, in the days when the first AI image generator, back then, 2023, 2024, was Midjourney. So most times they use these characters to emphasize. So if you put something in square brackets, it means you want AI to emphasize on that thing. If you separate, so I'll give an example anyway. If you separate a part of the text with this, it means you want AI to separate this from the general prompt. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, we'll still get there. So basically, same principle. You are telling AI that out of the many things you know about pictures, I'm using my prompt as a filter to tell you what I want. There is also such a thing as negative prompting, things you don't want to see in your image. It also applies to text prompting. So out of the many things you want, what are the things you don't want? Because AI hallucinates. Hallucination means generating things. The Bible says that faith is calling things that be not as though they were. So AI has the ability to manufacture information that you did not ask for, though you did. So you need to use context to discipline AI image generator to what you want to see and what you don't want to see. Otherwise, it will cook for you what you will not like. And I just want to start doing practicals. But aspect ratio here talks about what kind of image. So these are photography terms. 1:1 means square. You want the picture to be in a square form. 16:9 means you want it to be, the normal YouTube screen size. 9:16 means your Instagram reel size. Then prompt weight and strength, depending on the tool. You're telling it either you obey the prompt more or obey the prompt less. Chaos talks about, do you want it to vary the prompt or not vary the prompt? Different tools, but the tool we're using doesn't have this tool. It has this. Then each AI image generator uses what is called a seed in the code, because at the end of the day, AI is still a tech something. There are codes. So each image generates seed. So if you want image consistency, you lock the seed. We'll do that. I think Whisk still has seed, but Flow doesn't have seed. So Whisk and Flow are both owned by Google. You can use them for free image generation unlimited. So you can see this is a master prompt: subject, action, environment. So let's practicalize this. Sharp. We're done here. So let's practicalize this ASAP. So let me switch to Flow. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand or type in the chat box. Let's switch to Flow. Where are you? Yeah, Flow. So this is Google Flow. Yeah, an image and video generator. We also use it for image generation, for video generation. So this is Flow. We create a new project and we begin. So this is your interface. You still have your chat box, but you see that what you're generating is either image or video. So I want to generate an image. So someone should suggest to us what image. I want us to interact. What image are we going to generate? So we'll build it ourselves. I like us in building the prompts. So I already have prepared prompts, but I don't want to just do copy and paste, and while we do it, the raw as that. So someone should suggest what image do you want us to generate. and we'll do that. Okay, so what if you don't know all these photography terminologies? That's why you're still using AI. AI to teach you. Tell AI, I don't know photography terminologies, but you are a photography expert. Teach me photography terminologies like I'm 10 years old. You'll be surprised. This prompt I just mentioned, you'll be surprised what AI will tell you. So yeah, can explain the basics. Can explain the basics. I'm not a professional photographer, but I dabble. I know some of their terms, because you need it, especially if you're going to do image and video generation. You need it. AI does not replace the need for your mind. It does not replace it at all. So someone should suggest, please, 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 what image are we going to generate? If not, we'll generate the image of the woman with suya, the woman that is roasting suya. Okay, you can talk, or yeah, you can go ahead. Or you can type in chat. Hello. For burning time, should I go ahead with the woman with suya? The woman or the
Now
abuki?
it's here. Maybe an African woman, um, maybe just an African woman that is doing let's say 360-degree African woman that's doing well, something like that.
It
A
doesn't really paint
mother,
a
a wife.
visual picture.
Okay.
Because
Okay, so she
remember
has
our
to be doing
prompting:
something.
subject, action, environment. At least these three has to be in your prompt first before you lay out other things. So a subject, like I said, an
Okay,
African woman, wonderful. Doing what?
an African woman. She's maybe carrying out her motherly roles, her wifely duties, and um, maybe also as a
All
professional,
all right, I have a picture in my
maybe
mind. All right,
a doctor or something.
let's build on that. Let's build on that. So I'll show you the different layers. I think image generation is the one that really shows you the stark difference between what all these things add to your images. So let's use image. Let's make it a square. Okay, let's make it a square. Then I want to just generate one image or two images. Then you choose the model. So I was talking about that, like now, Flow is the site, Flow is the app, but this is the model that carries the back end that carries this thing. So this is Nano Banana Pro, Nano Banana 2, and Imagen 4. So these are the three image generation models that power Google Flow that we're currently using. So I want to just generate two images. I want to use Google Banana Pro. So let's say an African woman cooking rice and stew in a kitchen. So we've put subject, action, environment. You see how vague this will be now. It's just going to give me something generic, something it thinks is okay. Something it thinks is okay. So let's watch that. So we're going to layer different extra prompts on top. It's already 9. I've not even done video. Oh my. Already 9. I've not done. I've not done video generation. So you can see, we did not specify age. So one has gray hair, one has black hair. So the principle of prompt engineering cannot be broken. That same principle applies. So I'll go back again. It'll be showing you the stark difference. So a young, I'm going to specify age now. Let's say 26-year-old African woman cooking rice and stew in a kitchen. So the more vivid I am with my descriptions, the more constrained AI is to give me what I want. So I've defined subject more specific. I can even go deeper. If I wanted to say putting on apron, not putting on apron, if I want to say what she's putting on, I can put all those things. If I want to say the kind of pot, I can put all those things. If I want to say the kind of gas, so how vivid you can, make your prompting is what's going to make it more powerful. So cooking stew in the kitchen. So subject, action, object. So let's now start talking about the environment. Let's say in a night scene. So let's see what this looks like now. Let's see what this looks like. I hope we're following. I hope we're following.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's see what our prompt looks like. And there's a special one I'm going to do. I think the one I did how to transfer properties of one image to another image. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So you can see the difference. Can you see the difference? Can see the difference. So we've specified better, the age. We said it's a night scene. You can see, even though I did not add lighting, although AI is getting smarter now. As of 2023, AI image generation was terrible. So I've not even specified lighting, but you can see that the lighting is already relatively okay. So even with a basic prompt, because the tool is good, you can really create something that is good. You can really create something that is good. So if I want to add other rishi inside, I really want to make this as simple as possible. So I can now, if I like this image, I can pick this image now as a reference image. I don't need to retype my prompt again. I use this as a reference image and layer other things on top. So let's say I now say, okay, an African. I think I need to copy this thing so that to stop the see. Let me copy this prompt so that I'll not be rewriting it every time. So a young 26-year-old African woman cooking rice and stew in kitchen in a night scene. So I now want to add camera angle. So let me use which are the terminologies now, guys? POV shots. So that is a POV. POV shot to not be good to get both her and the stew. Okay, let me use a bird's eye view shot. That's from top of head. It's called a bird's eye view shot. If I want to change the style of the image, I can use, let me use pencil portrait. And let's see what it will give us. I'm just playing around. Okay, I didn't pick my reference image. Anyway, let's generate first. Then I'll show you how to pick a reference image. Because I wanted to use this as my reference so that to not generate an entirely different face. Because now this is where seed comes in. I'll still show you the image generator where seed and all those reference image things comes in. But here now you see that this face is different. This face and this face are the same. This face and this face are the same. But if I now want to maintain this face, even though it's the same prompt, it may not be, as you can see, it may not be exactly the same face. So if I want to apply this prompt for this image and apply it to this image, what I'll do is if I pick, let me pick my prompt. Let me pick this prompt now and go back. Then I'll paste my prompt, but from here, I will now select what I want to use as my reference image. Then send. So you see it will now apply using that one as reference image. If it does not, I will add a constraint in my prompt and say maintain image properties. So it's really about the thing about prompt engineering, if you've noticed, is really about how logical you are in painting the picture of what you want your output to be. Once you don't have a good image of what you want your output to be, prompting will not really be easy for you. Prompting will not really be easy for you. So if you want to apply another image style, let's say 3D cartoon or Pixar style cartoon, let me pick this. Let me pick this and instead of pencil portrait, let's use Pixar cartoon. That is a good Disney cartoon style. Pixar style cartoon. What's wrong with Flow today? I use this. Okay, that's come. So you see the same image, this same image. So you can see that it has rendered it as a pencil portrait. So that's how you use a reference image in your prompting. So let me pick one of my very complex prompts and describe it and put it before we. Where is it? Let me get it. Yeah. So this was the one I was working on in the afternoon. So the one I was working on in the afternoon. Let me put it up now. Flow. Let's get this out. So this was the prompt I was working on. So a young Nigerian woman. Let me use a young Nigerian man. Let me use northern Nigeria. Actively grilling spicy beef suya on a smoky barbecue stand at a bustling Lagos night market. So you see, we've put subject, action, environment. So what's the lighting? It's night, illuminated by warm string lights. That's the overhanging light on his shop. The barbecue fire is casting a dramatic warm glow across his face. Then what's camera shot? So eye level perspective. I want it to be best eye. I mean best eye perspective. Then this is talking about the kind of lens. So it's going to look like a studio portrait picture. Then what kind of image? So it's hyper realistic, that's as close to looking human as possible. I've scattered what I was doing. Sorry about that. Let me quickly adjust this. Hope we're still following, please. Hope we're still following. I hope I've not lost you. I know it's getting late.
Yes,
His
I'm
face.
following.
So I said bird's eye view. Bird's eye. From here, all those 16:9, they are all here. All those 16:9, they are all here. So I don't need to add that to this.
We can't see
prompt.
yourself.
And I'm adding a constraint, say no empty or cold light. So let's see what that gives us.
No, sir. No, sir.
All right, share. Let me share. Let's quickly get over to video. prompting so we can end. It's already past 9. Hope we're getting value. I hope we're getting value. If you're getting value, type value in the chat box. If you're getting value, type value in the chat box. Can you see my screen now? Why is this thing failing over and over? Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now? I just need 1 yes at least. Let me be sure you're seeing the screen because the image is almost done generating. Yes. All right. Wonderful. Let me go back to Flow, continue cooking some dangerous images. So the last thing I want to illustrate before we leave image generation is how to transfer the properties of one image to another image. So I'm going to show you what I did to my picture, or no, let me do something from scratch. Let me turn myself to Terminator. So let's see, let me pick one very wonderful image. All right, I've seen it. So let me show you. See my screen, see this image. I'm going to use my picture and I'm going to turn myself this way. Oh, is this better? I think this is even better. Yes, I'll use this. I like the blue. So I'm going to pick one of my pictures and I'm going to turn myself into this. So I'm going to show you the exact workflow you need to achieve this. So I first download the picture and I'll go over to my ChatGPT to pull out the properties. Remember, you need a prompt. So this is where a bit of advanced prompt-to-prompt framework comes in. So I already have a chat already open anyways. So let me show you my screen. So this is my screen. So this is what I'm going to do. So I already have a prompt. I used this to do something. I used this to do the one that's currently on my DP. That's this image that I used to convert my image. So this is the actual prompt. There's no other English. Reverse engineer. So I just wrote it in short form anyway. So let me import that picture. Into ChatGPT. Hope you can see my screen so you don't miss this. So paste my prompt. So let me just, for the sake of correctness of English, create a reverse engineer prompt for application for properties application on another image using Google Flow. So I'm telling it, still same principles of prompting. I'm telling it, this is IPO framework, input, prompt, input, process, output. My input is this image. This is the process, what I want to happen. Then I want my output to be a prompt. So create a reverse engineer prompt for the properties application on another image. So the properties on this image, I want to apply it on another image using Google Flow. And I'll send. So this is what it's going to give me. Analyzing the image. So here's a Google Flow optimized reverse engineered prompt. So you see hyper-realistic portraits using uploaded reference image, preserve subjects. So it's telling you to preserve my face, but apply the properties. So it goes down, apply futuristic cybernetic augmentation. Cybernetic elements should include fine circuit lines. So it's describing this image well. It's describing this image. So all I need to do is to copy this prompt. So you see that we've moved from IPO to prompt framework. So you are using multiple frameworks here now. So if I go over to Flow, let me share this tab. If I go back to Flow and I paste and I pick my reference image, because I already have the image in my previous, I already have a picture of me in my previous works. I don't need to upload a new one. If not, I just upload a new one. But I have from older stuff I've done. Anyways, let me upload since it's taking much. So let me upload. Where are you? I'll just upload. All right, I'm currently uploading so that I can apply the. So it's uploading here, but I've not yet applied this thing yet. It's just uploading. When it's done uploading and I click send, it will now apply that cybernetic this thing. So I can adjust this because the picture I'm uploading is a bit far. I want it to just focus on my face. So I can adjust. So that's why I said you need to understand how prompting works. So I can still edit this prompt and say close up shot. That's what I want it to be. So let it finish uploading, then I'll send. Yeah, it's done. Check now. So image is processing. Let's see if it was able to get our cyborg div properly. Let's see if it was able to get that properly. So our Suya man picture is ready. I didn't even notice. Nobody told me. Our Suya man picture is ready. So see our Suya man. You can see bird's eye view. So do I still hallucinating? See the place where he is and the place where the people are is not exactly the same. So maybe this bird's eye view is not really so nice. But you can see him with his suya, with the fire, with the bulb lighting up his face. You can see that this is a night market, Lagos night market. They show that Lagos is dirty. See, trash, trash. Why would Lagos night market be looking so dirty? AI, people that are training AI, teaching AI to sell Nigeria badly. It's not good. All right, so this is Cyborg Dave. So yeah, that's it too. Pass like this. So this is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly what we wanted. So this is the image and this was the reference. So this was the reference image. He picked the properties and we were able to do this. Can see this is even clean. I think I like this one more than that other one. This is clean. This is clean. I'm changing my profile picture to this. This is clean. This is very, very clean. This is clean. All right, so we've come to the end of image prompting. If you have questions, you can ask. I want to move over to video generation prompting. I want to move over to video generation prompting. All right, so we're still using the same flow. You can see here, you can either generate, okay, let me go back. You can see here, you can either generate image or video. So unlike image, you can see the models, Nano Banana 2 imaging. There's video that does them. There's view 1, view 3, sorry, 3.1 light, 3.1 fast, 3.1 quality. They all have audio capabilities. They all have audio capabilities. So you can, in your video prompting, add what's it called? You can add audio to your prompting, like what sound you want, what conversation you want to happen in your prompting. So as usual, before I do that, let's do a brief theoretical foundation. Then we run over to practicals and call it end of day. So I'll share my slide very briefly. Share my slide very briefly. Where are you? Why is my slide not showing? Coming, I will share my slide very briefly. Yes. Boom. And we're here. So there are just essentially 7, for a beginner, 7 essential techniques when it comes to anything. So you said this AI platform, okay. All the platforms we'll be using so far are free, but of course, free use has limits. So for Flow, image generation, I think for now, they don't charge credits for it. So go ahead, play with image generation, but video generation will cost you credits for each video you generate, and I think the length is maximum of 6 seconds or so. So if you want to maybe edit a full video, what you're actually creating are the different shots for your long video, not the entire long video at once. If you want to generate maybe a 30-minute video with a very complicated prompt, you need to get some more expensive AI platforms that subscribe to these platforms to power their websites. So you can do that. But let's go over to the slide. So you're a director as an AI image user and video generator. You are a director. So your ability to, same principle, your ability to visualize what you want your output to be is the foundation of good prompting. So like we always say, the principles of what you are generating, you need to know them. And if you don't know them, AI can teach you. Now let's go. So we can move fast. So of course, if you want to just generate videos like that, it's chaotic, it's unpredictable. But if you want to act as an AI director, use very simple intentional commands. So very basic commands, nothing much. So let's start. There are 7 kinds of video prompting, depending on what you want to do. And all of them don't have to be in one video. You can use one per video, because let's say you want to do a 5-minute video. In that 5-minute video, of course, all the different scenes do not look alike. So maybe the first 10 seconds can be one particular kind, the other 2 seconds, the other 3 seconds. So it's really about piecing together different parts of a video to make a longer one. So this is the first kind of prompting called cinematic prompting. Cinematic prompting simply means camera movement. You want the camera to move forward, move backward, move from up to down, move from down to up. So these are 4 basic. So this is the static shot. So you just tell the camera that this is a static shot of so and so image. Then you now describe what you want the person in the image to be doing. So you say that as we move from text prompting to image prompting to video prompting, it gets a bit more complicated, but so far you know the principles of prompting. You can't really go wrong when it comes to anything prompting. So let's now say this is a picture of a soldier, and I want to animate this picture. Say static shot, that is camera is not moving, of a soldier. You now describe what the soldier is doing. So static shot of a soldier, let's say cleaning his gun. Camera will not move, soldier will clean his gun. That's all. Video has edited. So this is the bird's eye view. That's drone, like as if a drone is moving. This is shaky handheld. That is as if all these are running scenes. If you're animating a short story and there's a scene where they are running, you can add a shaky handheld as the description of the camera movement. So it adds a bit more dynamic nature to the shot. You can tell the camera to orbit or rotate around the subject. So the same way in image generation, we have subject, action, environment. So here too, you just layer camera movement to the same things that are already in your image. So you can see what was your intent. So these are different camera movements and the intent that shows it. So if you want to show scale or detachment, that you want to show how big an environment is, you can give a better eye view, like all those opening shots of these your wonderful cinematic movies that show a top view of Lagos or top view of a mountainous region. If you want to show scale as an introductory shot, this is it. You want to create chaos or urgency, like that running scene. This is shaky handheld camera. You want to focus on the emotion on the subject's face. Maybe someone is crying, or laughing, you want to focus on that. You say, zoom in or close up shot. So it's really about knowing, just be able to know the term. If you had you use prompts to prompt framework. Then you want to reveal new information. Maybe someone is walking along the road and the camera follows them, or there's something down. You want the camera to move from up to down. That's what cinematic prompting is. So let's quickly, okay, I want to go through them, then we'll start practicalizing. So we'll do them at once. Then the next is timestamp prompting. Timestamp prompting is talking about, like now, I said the video generation here is like 5 seconds. So let's say I want the first 5 seconds to be a wide shot. Then I want the first 3 seconds to be a wide shot, and I want the next 3 seconds to be a close-up shot on the face. So it will be like the camera angle just changed immediately. That's timestamp prompting. So you need to put from 0 second to so second. This is the kind of shot. From so second to so you see this one. This was the image of an astronaut on the moon. So you see first 3 seconds, the camera will zoom towards the astronaut. The 3 to 5 seconds, the camera will move down to the recording device that the person is holding, because already this is already an image of an astronaut holding this device. So this is a POV shot, a point of view shot. That's what it's called, a POV shot of the recording device. So if I were to write this prompt now, it will be 3 seconds to 5 seconds. The full prompt will be 0 seconds to 3 seconds, camera zooms towards astronaut, 2 seconds to 5 seconds, POV shot of this device. Then 5 seconds to 8 seconds, the camera will now go back up to the sky. So time stamping is when you want to organize multiple actions. You want multiple actions to happen in the same shot. That's where it happens. The next, I don't want to layer too much information because this one can be a bit, remember I said there are 7 of them. So cutscene here is similar to timestamp, but the difference is that you can just simply change camera angle. So this one is like camera movement. Like you can literally see the camera move. Oh, it moves. But in this cutscene, it's like cut and join. Like as the astronaut is walking, you're seeing him walking towards the plane. Next thing, you're just videoing his foot. So if you do video editing, you really know what a cutscene is. So this kind of prompt. Astronaut walks towards spaceship, cuts to close-up of boots walking along terrain. So you can see the difference in timestamp prompting and cutscene prompting. Timestamp prompting is best for single continuous takes. That's as if the person is performing the action in the same video. We'll still practicalize this. While cutscene is for different, trying to get multiple camera angles in the same scene. Okay, let's do some practice before I don't like dumping a lot of information at once. So let's do some practice before we continue. Flow. All right. So which image now? Which image lives now? Yes, there's an image of, let me create a new project. Okay. Create a new project. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't need to. I don't. Please, can you still hear me? Yes, yeah, we're using Google Flow. Google Flow does video generation. Can you still hear me? My network is becoming unstable. Can you hear me now? Should be back now. Can you hear me now? Okay. You should hear me clearer now. Can you hear now? Can you hear better now? All right. All right. All right. So soon share the screen back. Flow is back as well. All right. So now, when it comes to video generation, it's often not best to create the video from scratch. Like just enter the video generation, platform and start typing, generate a video of a man carrying a dog on his head. And no, that often does not. That often does not pan out well. So it's best to first generate your image. So you already have a reference. In fact, you can even generate variants of the same image so that you now use it as your reference when you're generating your videos. So, although it's not within the scope of this, but let's say you want to do a let's say a 2-minute video, and in that 2-minute video, based on what you've proposed, there are about, let's say, 20 different scenes. So your workflow is supposed to be you generate 20 different images for the 20 different scenes, then you animate those 20 different images, then you now piece them together. So that's how it works. So you need to have a reference image first before you begin. So it's not often best to, generate there from scratch. So so there are two ways here in this tool. So it's either I'm generating frames, that's I have images that already show what I want the beginning scene to look like, what I want the end scene of that same video to look like. Let's say I want a picture of a man smoking. I want a video of a man smoking. The first image will be him with the cigarette in his hand. The last image will be him with the cigarette in his mouth and smoke coming out, that kind of thing. And I put the start image and the end image. But that's more work. Instead, I prefer to use ingredients. That is, I'm generating video directly from image. Then this talks about, do I want it to be vertical? Do I want it to be horizontal? I pick the model I want. You can see it uses 20 credits. So I have to pick an image. I already generated some before. I want to just reuse. So let me use this guy now that is a downfall. Let's practicalize this this thing. So straight up, I describe the subject, a man flagging down a downfall bus. What kind of shot? Static shot. This is image prompt. This video prompt. That's all. If I want to now layer other extras, I can do that. So let's say I want this to be a vertical. I just want one. Then, like I said, this model has audio attached. So I can decide to now add a negative prompt. No conversation, only environment sounds. That is appropriate. Let me use appropriate environment sounds. And I send. So generating my video. I hope it's faster. So that's the first layer. So if I want to do another one, so let me pick. There's this picture of a video. This one I was working on in the afternoon. I want you to see it. So these are, I was generating different images earlier. So let's say I want to use this as my base image. So you see a woman grilling suya. So suya. So let me call it close-up shots. Or no, camera moves in towards her hand. So this is my second image. I want it to be vertical as well. Let's test it out. So let's see. I don't know if you can hear the sound.
Ojú ẹlẹ́gba. Wọlé.
Can you hear?
Wọlé. Ojú ẹlẹ́gba. Wọlé.
So did you hear the sound? I don't know if the sound was heard. Okay. So you see, we have generated image. That AI likes Lagos too much. It's now entering small jealousy. Yeah, likes Lagos too much. All right, so let's see if our second video is ready. Yeah, it's ready. Let's see.
Smells so good.
You see that
This batch
AI went to manufacture
so
fan
good.
for me that did not send it.
This batch is almost ready.
So
Smells so good. This batch is almost ready.
So I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay, can you make it speak another language? Yes, you can. You can actually. You can. It now depends on whether Google AI is Igbo trained. But yes, you can specify it in your prompt. Let me add that. Let me pick the prompt. Sorry. So let me pick my reference image again. I want to pick a different image this time, and let me use this one. So let's say a woman grilling suya. So let's apply the second kind of prompting. A woman grilling suya. So let's say 0 seconds. Just give very basic. 0 seconds to 3 seconds. 0 seconds to 3 seconds will be what kind of shot now? Let's call it pan shots. Then 3 seconds. 3 seconds to end will now be a close-up shot of her face smiling. Then let me now add your Igbo. She is speaking Igbo. So let's see. Let me change my aspect ratio to wide angle. Let's see what it gives us. Let's see what it gives us. So let's wait. Let's wait. Let's wait. Let's wait. Let's see what it gives us. So ideally, if I wanted to maybe now piece all these things together, text, image, video generation, use text, generate your script, use the script, generate your image prompts, use the image prompts, use the images you generated with your image prompts, animate them, piece them together, you have a video. That's how video generation with AI works. So let's see. Yeah, video is ready. Let it output. Let's see what it looks like.
Ndewo. Lenu nke a. Dini le noru ebe a. Unu geri.
Igbo has Google has modernized my language. Who sent me? Who sent me? Oh my God. Oh my God. As well. So yeah, you can tell it to speak Igbo, you can tell it to speak Yoruba. But oftentimes I prefer to generate my conversation apart from the video. Although Google is better now. Google is better now when it comes to, because at the end of the day, you need to lip sync. Like if it's a talking video now, if you go and generate your speech from another platform, how do you now lip sync? How do you now lip sync it to the video? You get? So that usually becomes the problem. So it's best to generate the audio inside the video, you know. The problem now will now be voice consistency, you know, across different clips. Because now this shot now is her grilling her suya. If, for example, now she's the same person cooking in the kitchen, is it the same voice? If she's one, maybe going to work, if she's the one going for an Owambe, because now we have sort of mastered consistency in image generation. That's where this other tool comes in. Is going to close soon. Whisk is going to close soon. Flow is going to replace it. So that's why I didn't bother. It's my go-to image generation tool. This is it, Whisk. But you see that image generation and animation is moving to Flow for both image and video creation. So, but this used to be my go-to tool when it comes to generating images, because from here now, unlike the aspect, apart from the aspect ratio, okay, apart from the aspect ratio, this is seed. That seed I was telling you about when I was teaching image generation. So if I want consistent image, I'll simply lock this. Once it's locked, it means that all images generated will maintain this code in their back end. So if I'm generating the image of a woman, the same face, the same feature. So if I say, okay, she's wearing abada, she's wearing this, the same person, it will not change. So, but if you're now using Flow, you need to pick a reference image, now add somewhere in your prompt that should maintain the features of the reference image, but it can still vary because they didn't really give you an option for seed. So this is Whisk. This is where I normally do my image generation anyways. There's also Image FX. Image FX is also, yeah, you see that all of them are porting to Flow. So you see Flow, image generation is moving to Flow. So all of them are moving to Flow. My problem with Flow now is that there's no place for seed unless they are going to update it then. Unless they're going to update it then. So the other extras when it comes to video editing is now, you know, it's called artifacts. So if there's a particular thing I want to see, a particular thing that I don't want to see, is this one now depends on the particular image you're generating, the particular video you're generating. So like now, you see that this image now, this video now, the reference image, she was wearing a black top. So if I want AI to always maintain that black top, or somewhere in my prompt, I'll now say she's wearing a black top. So it will be in every prompt as the artifact, as a sort of context guide. So an artifact is called anchor prompting. So it's just big English for I want to see this thing in all the videos. Then of course, negative prompting, what you don't want to see and all that. So with this, so let me ask, with this, Yes, let me see. You asked the question, said, do you mean we can add voice notes? If the tool allows it, yes. There are audio generation tools that you can use to generate voiceovers for your video. But the thing now is, if you finish generating voiceover for your video, how do you lip sync it to the video, like the person saying it? Unless it's the kind of video where it's not the person talking, like you're not shooting a movie. If you're shooting a sort of documentary where it doesn't really need to show that this person's lips is moving, generate your videos without sound, generate your audio overlay. Let's say you're into maybe spoken word or something, you finish doing your voiceover, you finish generating the voiceover in another tool. You simply take the audio file and overlay over the video file, and you're good to go. So we've essentially come to the end of today's webinar. So can we confidently prompt now? How much from what you've heard can you confidently, has your prompting improved? I want to get honest feedback. Has your prompting really improved? I'll put up a poll on the group, so we can give feedback on that. Has your prompting really improved? I'll see what next follows after this. So, like I said, maybe not everybody here was here in the beginning. So, like I said, I am into artificial intelligence. So you can follow me on Facebook, you can follow me on LinkedIn. My name is David Okadike. This quarter, I'll be running a series on AI's application in business, AI's application in income generation. So you don't want to miss any posts. You can go ahead, go on LinkedIn, send me a connection, send me a follow. You can send me a message that, oh, I'm from the free webinar. And you can follow up on that. I'm looking forward to, not just looking forward to, I'm building a community of AI savvy individuals. I'll be creating, I believe a lot of us belong to a lot of WhatsApp groups. I don't really want to add to that burden, but I'll be creating a WhatsApp channel where, yes, my same name, David Okadike, same name. So I'll be creating a WhatsApp channel where I'll be dropping updates, links to my posts, links to tools, links to updates on AI, links to materials that I'll be sharing on that community. So I will create the channel and I'll put up the link on the group. So thank you very much, everyone. I would have wanted to hear some testimonials. Maybe some of you can unmute. Tell me, how has this really been valuable to you? What has improved for you? Maybe we can do that on the group. Okay. The platform I use to prepare my slides is called Notebook LM. So you can check it out. That's what I use to prepare my slides. But as for the information, it's Folocom. Yeah, I will not replace that one. I did my research myself. So thank you very much for being part of this. Thank you for celebrating me. This is me celebrating my birthday. So thank you for being here. Have a good night's rest.